Good afternoon from the mines of Moria. It's currently a very pleasant 10 or so degrees here just above Khazad-dûm, and I think it's a beautiful day, but I don't know because I can't see the daylight since we're here in this crypt summoning the Balrog. This is the Halloween special for the American Highlander 2025. Let's go. Many people around the world dream of returning to the home of their ancestors, the British Isles. At the age of 45, I fulfilled a lifelong ambition and bought my dream home in the Scottish Highlands. My name's Jason, and I live in the far north of Scotland. This is my story. Welcome to the American Highlander. Good afternoon from the Scottish Highlands. It's another absolutely beautiful day. It's Monday, October 20th, but by the time you see this, it'll be part of the Halloween special. So, given the subject material, that does beg the obvious question: is my house haunted? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. It's a 19th century cottage in the Scottish Highlands. Of course it's haunted. That should be on the brochure for this place. I don't mean to make light of paranormal events, because there's probably somebody watching this who's, maybe experienced some stuff that was legitimately frightening. And if so, you have my sympathies. Yes, I have experienced phenomena in this house since moving in, which I cannot logically or rationally, scientifically explain. However, at no point has it ever felt malicious. I never felt like I was in danger. I never felt like anything was trying to get me. It's almost like a Casper the Friendly Ghost story. And interestingly enough, the previous owners who were here right before us, they've since gone on to become very good friends of ours, they reported exactly the same thing, that they had several experiences in this house that they could not rationally explain. And interestingly enough, some of their experiences match things very precisely that my wife and I have experienced since moving in, and that was before we knew what they had experienced. So, there's no confirmation bias there, and I find that genuinely interesting. Now again, I always err on the side of, if there is a scientific explanation, that's almost certainly the correct answer. And some stuff can be very easily explained. I mean, for instance, the property does have motion sensors that trigger lights. It's part of the security system. And, there are times, 3 a.m., the external lights will pop on and there's no sound, there's nothing out there. And you wonder, well, okay, what triggered the lights? But that's pretty easy to explain. I mean, we're surrounded by forest and farmland. It's probably a pine marten running across the driveway. So, I'm not particularly worried about that. Now, there are certain things where you go, for instance, a very specific, knock on the front door, or the sound of someone trying to turn the knob when it's locked, footfalls from upstairs that are too heavy to be caused by a rodent or something running around in the attic, and stuff that my wife and I have experienced at the same time, where we both thought the sound was coming from the other person. And again, the previous owners have experienced stuff that's very similar. The one that I found really interesting is the very first night that I was here. My wife hadn't moved up yet. She was still in London, so I was up here by myself. It was about 3 a.m., and I was trying to get to sleep. And from the other end of the house, I heard a very loud, prolonged, distinct creak. And again, this was not a light sound. This was not the house settling on its foundation, or, like an animal on the roof or something like that. This was inside the house, and it would take an adult, probably an adult male, because the amount of mass required to make that kind of sound. Now, I've actually tried replicating that sound a few times by standing on creaky floorboards in the house. I can sort of replicate the sound, but not completely. And I just knew at that moment that I wasn't alone in the house. But again, at no point did I feel like I was in any sort of danger at all. There was no sense of malice. It was just someone saying hello and letting me know that they were there. And that's really the sense that my wife and I have both gotten from this place, is, this place was built at the end of the Little Ice Age. It's 171 years old, give or take. There have been many, many people who have come and gone throughout that time. For instance, I know from a public record that one previous owner died of natural causes, just old age, in the master bedroom. That's the room that my wife and I sleep in. Does that bother me? No. And keep in mind, if you're selling real estate up here in Scotland, you do not legally have to disclose if you think a property is haunted. So keep that in mind. And I didn't ask the previous owners, because as soon as my wife and I saw this house, we just knew this is it. This is where we want to be. And the house, again, chose us. It was a very unique feeling. And there are times where, my wife has been working late or what have you, and she'll go to bed, and someone will turn the lights on in the office. And she has actually asked whoever did it in the house, hey, could you please not do that? Hasn't happened since. And again, my wife is the kind of person where if she left lights on and forgot, she would cop to that. She's not that kind of person. So it's pretty safe to rule out human error there. But there are just people in that house who are very fond of it, and they don't want to leave just yet. And I get it. I totally get it, because, if I have my way, a long time from now, I'll die in this house. And that means that statistically there is a non-zero chance that someone watching this may one day be a future owner of this place. So if that's you and you're watching this and you're here in a future a long time from now, and the PlayStation turns itself on at 3 in the morning, don't freak out. I just want to play some Dragon Age. So don't get rid of my PlayStation. Anyway, I guess that's my spooky ghost story. It doesn't bother me in the least. It doesn't bother my wife at all. And fortunately, it doesn't bother Annabelle at all, which that's good, because, you know, cats can, like, see stuff that we can't see. If anything, it's part of the magic of this place. It's part of its charm. You know? It's part of the fun of being here in this incredible land. So, why don't we do some sightseeing? And then I do want to talk about something separate, a different phenomena that a lot of people have experienced, because I started noticing it as well. So we'll get into that. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. Come on, let's go sightseeing. This is Scotland's flow country. We're at Crask, and it's here that you can see the vast emptiness of Sutherland. It's one of the most sparsely populated places in all of Europe, and it's rejuvenating for the soul. I mean, there are many, many brilliant tourism attractions further south in Scotland. You've heard of them, you've seen them on TV. They're well worth experiencing. But you have to share that experience with how many other people at the same time? Come up here to the far north, and you'll have this, probably to yourself. If you're anything like me, and you crave peace and solitude, let me put it to you this way. Up here, you can finally breathe. And some of you know exactly what I mean by that. Come see it for yourself. This, to me, is what Scotland is all about. I can pretty much guarantee you I'm the only human being in any direction for 10 miles, at least, probably more. You could come marching through here with a brass band. I could blast Van Halen on my car stereo as loud as possible. No one would hear it. The nature up here, the solitude, the tranquility of it. It's not just addictive, it's something that I need. We've gotten away from this in our modern world with our modern conveniences and modern lights and modern sounds, and don't get me wrong, we've benefited from it quite a bit as a species. But we've also, I don't know, is it cliche to say we've forgotten the old ways a little bit? That we've forgotten the simple joys of peace, quiet, nature, dark skies at night, a roaring fire. Don't know. I've been on this planet now for almost half a century. The older I get, the less that I want things, and the more that I just want experiences like this. I'm often asked why I don't act more like a tour guide when I film these videos. I mean, we're here in the middle of Sutherland, this beautiful Loch on the road to Ben Hope. I don't even know what it's called. I'll put it up on the screen if I haven't already. But to me, it's not about facts and figures. Think about your favorite travel memory, someplace that you've been that really spoke to your soul. How do you remember it? Through facts and figures and numbers and statistics? Or do you remember the warmth of the sunlight on your skin and the way the grass smelled and the feel of sand underneath your feet, or it's not about dry details. It's about the picture that you took in your mind's eye when you were there in that moment. That's what you hold on to for the rest of your life. And that's how I film this series. I'm filming it as memories that my future self can look back on and maybe take with me. Okay, there's another phenomenon that is frankly pretty spooky that I do want to talk about. The difference is this time, this is something that a lot of people have experienced, and it's still unexplained. It's called the hum. So when I first moved in, I was coming from a very noisy environment in London. You know, constant noise pollution. I mean, sirens and car crashes and people partying and yeah, you name it. You come up here to the far north and, particularly at night, there's no sound. Like, it's dead quiet. There's also no light pollution, so it's pretty cool. You can see the northern lights here really well. And I was sitting in the living room. It was the first week that I was here. I didn't have the stove going. I didn't have the TV on, so it was very, very quiet in the house. And I heard this bass rumble that was omnipresent. And I started searching throughout the house and then went outside, went around the house. I was like, where is this noise coming from? I even texted the previous owner and said, hey man, did you leave a generator on somewhere that I should know about? And he was like, no, I don't know what this sound is that you're hearing. I was Googling it and I stumbled across the hum. And as it turns out, I think it's something like 2% of the human race has reported hearing this sound at different places all over the world. It's like the mother of all diesel tractor engines idling just on the other side of the wall. It's this really loud, omnipresent rumble. Now you might be thinking, is this tinnitus or tinnitus if you're in the US? No. I have tinnitus. Had it ever since I can remember. And that's a very different ringing in the ears. And I can hear both sounds at the same time. This, it rattles your chest. It's a very odd, deep bass. Now, some people think that there is an external source for this. And I've seen some pretty wild, X-Files theories posted online. Who knows? They might be true, they might not be true. I have seen other theories saying that it's something physiological. Maybe it's another form of tinnitus. That, to me, in the absence of any other evidence at the moment, seems more plausible. Doesn't mean that there isn't an external source. It's just, in the absence of evidence, you have to go with the simplest answer. There does seem to be a connection between people who hear this sound and either undiagnosed adult autism or stress and anxiety. And that I find interesting because I've lived my entire life up until I moved up here basically in survival mode. I mean, if you've watched previous episodes, you know some of my backstory, so you understand where I'm coming from. Stress and anxiety have been pretty constant for me up until, I started building a new life up here. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's a physiological trigger. And it was worth pointing out, my wife actually had me take the NHS pre-screening test for undiagnosed adult autism. I was kind of skeptical. And it says, if you score above a certain number, you should, see a qualified medical professional. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I looked at the final score and it was eyebrow arching. So on one hand, that would answer many questions. On the other hand, it kind of annoys me how autism seems to be downright trendy on social media now. That actually kind of angers me a little bit. Because let me tell you, you do not want to be wired the way I'm wired. You want a real Halloween special, spend 30 seconds in my head. But the hum is something that I started hearing since I came up here to a much more quiet environment. I don't know if I had been able to hear it in other environments because they were just too noisy. So I am curious if this is something that you hear. Let me know in the comments. I want to know, are you local? Are you around here? Do you hear it as well? And if not, where are you coming in from? Where do you hear it? So I'm kind of curious to find out more because Some people are really distressed by it, like it negatively impacts some people's lives. Fortunately, it's not that bad for me. You know, I kind of wish I didn't hear it, but I'm not overtly bothered by it. It's just there. And, you know, you just tune it out and get on with things. But tuning it out is obviously easier said than done when it's a very quiet environment. So the hum is kind of spooky because it's real. A lot of people have experienced it and still experience it to this day, myself included. So chime in, let me know. Anyway, enough on that subject. Let's get back to some sightseeing, shall we? Your life is a mental scrapbook. What you choose to fill each blank page with, that's up to you. It's your responsibility. When you're young, some pages are filled in for you by others. Some of those pages are worth rereading, others are best left forgotten. But there comes a point when it's your responsibility. And this might sound a little heavy. Some people talk about, reincarnation and we'll just come back again and get it right next time. Not for me. I want this time to be my last. And for those of you who believe that you only get one go at this, then you understand the urgency that generates. One of the best quotes I ever heard. It really reshaped how I look at things. Your second life begins when you realize you have only one life to live. I'm middle-aged. I have a major internal organ that's failing. What have I got left? 50 years? 40? 10? 5? Doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with the time you have. I don't really have much in the way of deep, life-altering wisdom to share. I can only give you glimpses into the lessons that I've had to learn the hard way. The hardest one that I think I've had to learn is that I'm not sure this universe actually has any purpose. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I mean, if St. Thomas Aquinas couldn't figure this out, I'm sure as heck not going to figure it out. But Teilhard de Chardin once wrote that our purpose is to go towards the light. Whatever that light is, that's up to you. But your responsibility is to go towards it. I'm a very lonely soul that's been wandering for a long time. And for the first time, I feel like I'm at home. I'm going to enjoy it for whatever time I've got left. Thanks for sharing this memory with me. Until next time. Thanks for watching The American Highlander. Take care.